But as you said in the press conference that you sort of got the feeling that Jos was going to stand down after that game against Afghanistan. What gave you that feeling?
When he came in after doing the media, and I sort of sat down next to him, and you could sort of just see that it was weighing pretty heavy on him, and he was just a little bit sort of downbeat, naturally downbeat after losing a game and having to go and do another press conference and obviously face up to things. But look, I think he's made the right decision. My first kind of instinct was, don't worry about it, boss, we'll carry on. But then when you actually start thinking about it and you start thinking about what's right for Jos and what's right for the team moving forward, I think he's done the selfless thing, and that's give the opportunity to someone else. But I will say that I think he's copped a lot of criticism right throughout the last little period of his captaincy career, but he's a World Cup winning captain, and I'm a firm believer that sometimes the impact that you have on people is not necessarily felt under your own leadership, under your own time as captain. It can be felt in time down the line, and I'm sure that'll be the case with some of the guys who've had the pleasure of playing under Jos.
Did you see a build-up to this decision? Because we watch Jos a lot, and it doesn't seem some of the responsibility and the disappointments he wears very lightly.
Yeah, he wears it heavy, and he's incredibly proud, right? He's proud of what he's been able to achieve on the field and as captain. He's also proud of representing his family and representing England and all the people that support this team, and that's why I think he does wear things so heavily. And I've said to him so many times, I've said to these boys so many times too, you're too hard on yourself. This game is not exact. It's not just because you work hard and you want it lots, it doesn't guarantee you anything. Sometimes you've got to let go a little bit, and you've got to be prepared to allow your talent to come out rather than suffocating yourself with this pressure of trying to do the right thing or trying to perform or trying to win. And I think ultimately that was probably the situation with Jos, and I think we'll see a relieved man, I guess, crack on with the rest of his career. And for us, it's an opportunity to look at ways that we can utilise him even more. Obviously, with him being captain, we wanted to take a little bit of burden off him. Now you could probably look to load him up a little bit with some opportunities so that he finishes his career as a player with the most significant impact he can make.
You need Jos Buttler, the batsman, back.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, he's one of the best in the world, right, when he's flying, and I'm sure we'll see that back in the next little while. He looks like the colour's already come back to his face. And I saw when he told the boys in the team room tonight, I almost looked over. I looked over at Joe at one stage. I almost saw him grinning as if, I know how you're feeling, boss. So I've been there. I've done it, and he's a great example of someone who made a significant impact on people, which is now being felt after his time as captain. And when he went back to the ranks, he's excelled in that position. He's still a very strong leader within the group, and I'm sure Jos will be no different.
What does this side need as a leader going forward?
Well, we've got some time to think about that, Morty. I think for us, this is less than 24 hours old, so it's pretty fresh, and we've got a little bit of time when we get home before we need to make those decisions. So Keys and myself and the team at the ECB will sit down, we'll work out exactly what that looks like and who that person will be and what help they need and what sort of assistance they need around them to be able to get our results back to a level that we know that they should be at. But there's some really good personnel around. There's some excellent thinkers of the game. There's some very strong leaders. Again, that's compliments to Jos, that there's some leaders that sit within the dressing room who are not necessarily 34, 35 years of age. They're young men who have been allowed to grow and who have been allowed to lead within the group, and that's again great compliment to Jos that he's brought the best out in those guys. And we'll have the conversation, we'll work out who it is, and then we'll get right in behind them.
Sometimes a team can reflect where the captain is at, how the captain behaves. Do you think that some of the confidence that has been lacking and some of the release the handbrake perhaps that you talk about has been lacking because Jos does take it so to heart and care so deeply, and that filters through?
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't quite put my finger on that either. I think I agree with you. I think if anything, we are lacking confidence. There's a perception out there that I guess that we're a happy-go-lucky kind of arrogant type of team. We couldn't be further from that. First and foremost, these guys are unbelievable human beings. A lot of them are still kids who are growing and becoming men on the international stage, and that's half our job, is to try and build men for life, not just as cricketers, but for well after the game as well. And I think these guys, if anything, they want it too much. It sounds bizarre to say that, but there's just that when the pressure comes on, it's outcome focused on what happens if this doesn't go right, what happens if we don't win, what if I get out, what if I bowl a bad ball. So you can't realise your talent if you're feeling like that, or if that's your dominant thought. It's about trying to free these guys up, trying to allow them to be able to give themselves a break occasionally and not treat themselves so harshly, and then let the talent come out. And we get enough of a critical mass within the group that does that, and then I think we've got the opportunity to fly, and that's what we'll be looking to try and do in the next little while.
Can I just ask you briefly in the last one about the development of players? Because when things go wrong, a lot of people look at the schedule and then obviously the domestic structure, and many commentators or many comments have been made the fact that a lot of these guys don't play domestic 50-over cricket. Do you think going forward players need to play domestic 50-over cricket to succeed at things like the Champions Trophy?
Yeah, perhaps. I guess it depends on how the structure of everything looks. I think now we're probably in a fortunate position, and it's fresh on our doorstep, but with how well the 100 has sold, and obviously there's going to be opportunities where guys have become big players in that tournament. There's probably not the need necessarily to bounce around some of these leagues around the world now, and they can sort of focus more on the home game and the English game, knowing that they're going to be well looked after. So I think if we look at 50-over cricket, it's a tough game, 50-over cricket, particularly if you don't play a lot of it, because if anything, it's probably closer to Test cricket than it is T20, because you've still got to have the ability to operate in second and third gear, not just straight to sixth, and that can be difficult at times. So again, that's something we've got to sit down and work out. We haven't got it right in this tournament. We'll put our hands up for that. You don't get to feel sorry for yourself about that. When you take jobs on like this, that's what you expect. That sometimes you're gonna have to navigate your way through some rocky terrain, and that's the exciting aspect of it. And for us, there is some opportunities to change some things and to make some plays. And I look forward to sitting down with Keezy and the guys at the ECB and making a bit of a plan there.
Have you been surprised at the challenge?
No, not really.
Another one for you.
Yeah, but it's good. I mean, you don't want easy things in life, right? You want. To me, this is the exciting part, to be able to strip things back and say, right, how do we get this right? How do we make sure that we get ourselves, this England cricket team, performing at a level that it deserves, that the people that support this team deserve. I don't think we're that far away. We've got some changes to make and a few things to touch up on, but I'm ready for the challenge and look forward to it.